Hey guys, welcome to the show. Couple things. This Sunday, I'm going to be at the Rec Room with Corinne Olympus. You could get tickets at www.recroomhb.com. And then on March 5th, I'm going to be at the Rec Room with Alan Havey. That's a Saturday. You could get tickets at www.recroomhb.com. I'm starting to realize the Rec Room's the only club that's booking me right now. It's been a couple, past couple of years have been pretty tough getting shows and stuff. I'm working on trying to get more shows. So it's one of those things where it's just day by day, I guess, and all that. What else? Oh, yeah, I'm competing for the funniest person in LA on Saturday. If you want to go to that, it's at the Comedy Cha-Cha or Cha-Choo. So, yeah. All right. Enjoy this interview with Sarah Halstead. And, all right, guys, subscribe, rate, and review if you liked it. Help us out. Even if you don't like it, send a review and, show us how to improve. All right, guys, hope you guys all have a great day and enjoy this interview. Bye.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Yeah. Holy Lord. Hey, Sarah. You there? I see you, but I can't hear you. Maybe I muted you. Oh. Okay. What did I do? Okay. I just unmuted you, I think. Are you there? Can you hear me? Hello? Sarah?
Let's see.
Yeah, I hear you now.
It's because my car was on and something.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I pulled over. Yeah, anyway, it's all good. Hi.
Hey, you want to do this when you get home so you're not in the car?
Nah, this is good. I have an ocean view right now.
Uh-huh.
I didn't give myself enough time. I had to be in Santa Barbara earlier, and I didn't give myself enough time to get home for this, but that's fine. I'd rather be doing this than stuck in traffic.
Are you sure?
Yeah, positive.
Okay, because as long as you're not driving, I guess.
No, I'm not. I'm just gonna take it easy like Sunday morning. This is good. I have the ocean, and I have you, the best company.
Oh, awesome. I usually have a trusty sidekick, but he's having Zoom issues, so he's probably not going to make this one.
Okay, no worries.
But, basically what the trusty sidekick is if what we say isn't funny, we'll just make fun of him.
Oh, that always works. That's a brilliant idea.
Brilliant
I
idea.
need one of those all the time.
Well, I learned that on a talk show, you should always have a trusty sidekick. And my dog just took something. And you should always have a trusty sidekick because, it helps, I guess, feel less awkward between the host and the guest or something. That's something Norm told me. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty well. Great advice, and Norm had one, right? And as did all the great talk show hosts, and still do. I don't think there is one without a sidekick, is there? Oh, I don't think Jimmy Fallon. Well, he kind of plays with the band. He's got the roots.
I think Jimmy Fallon's the only talk show host still active right now, isn't he? Like Conan just quit, and
but Conan had Andy Richter.
I
don't think Conan is. I'm not sure where. Let's see. Well, we have Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon, the Jimmys.
The Jimmys, yeah. I feel like you can't be a talk show host right now unless your name's Jimmy.
Yeah, that must be it. We're gonna have to change our names.
Sarah, you're gonna kill me. Can we wait for 1 second? I gotta get this from my dog. Okay.
Of course.
Okay, sorry.
No problem.
Boomer, you're making me look bad on my interview. All right, I'm back.
Now you're
welcome to the show. Yeah.
Your office looks better than mine. You look like you're in a hotel, or is that just your bedroom, living room?
This is my living room. My parents' living room.
And okay.
They had a picture of the whole family, but like something like got on it, so we had to take the picture off to get it cleaned up.
Oh, okay. So, it really looks like a posh, lobby of the St. Regis.
Exactly. Well, see,
I was like, I need to get your per diem, whatever you're making on the road. That's what I need. Your rate.
Well, I'm not making anything on the road now. But no, I was like, oh my God, I have an interview with Sarah today. So I just jumped in some random stranger's house and started, because I didn't want to do the car thing.
Well, look at me. The car. That's what I love about Zoom. Yeah. I think this is great. We can get more done.
Yeah. I usually do it in a studio, but with COVID, the studio shut down. So I don't think the studio is going to come back.
Okay.
But I feel like everyone's doing Zoom interviews right now.
I have a studio. I just started. I revamped my podcast. I found a really beautiful studio in Silver Lake. I would love to have you on.
Yeah, it would be fun. Speaking of your podcast, I listened to a couple episodes.
Oh, thanks.
I'm very impressed. You got John Cryer.
Yeah. That was before the revamp. So that Drinking During Business Hours was my very first podcast. And then I had some great guests, and it really had a lot of traction, and I had a blast. Yeah. But then Comedy Store came knocking on my door and asked me to do a podcast in their basement. And who doesn't want to hang out in the basement of the Comedy Store?
Definitely not me.
It is haunted as fuck. I can attest. I have stories. I have a lot of stories. Everything they say about that place is true.
So did a ghost haunt you? Like tell us a story.
The most riveting, I have a few.
Yeah.
But the one that
we have 45 minutes.
Oh, okay, good. All right. I'll just tell stories about the spirits of Comedy Store. But the one that really got me, I was performing the Belly Room, and that little green room that they have. It's kind of a strange room. And
if it's like 3 people.
Yeah, it's really tiny. Well, they eventually knocked down one of the walls and made it larger, but then it was almost more strange, the room and the shape of it, and just the energy is odd. And I got stuck up there with Bobby Lee when I was a very, very beginner comic, and he filled my head with all these ghost stories, and I was always scared to be myself in that room. And I was performing, and there was another comic, a very young comic in that green room. It's like, okay, I'm not going to be alone. There's somebody else in there. I'll just hang out there and have some quiet time before my set. His name was Ben, and he was really kind of willowy and pale, really, really young. And he said that he was nervous about performing, and he was really scared to go on. And I kind of talked him off the cliff. I said, you're going to be fine. This is just it's very normal to have this kind of, that butterfly feeling in your stomach. And when you get out there, you're going to remember your set, everything. And, just like reassuring him. And then I came back from my set, and he wasn't there. He wasn't in the lineup. His name was nowhere to be found. and no one else saw him.
You were talking to a ghost? Holy Lord.
I'm telling you, that is a true story.
Oh,
that
my
is
God.
a true story that happened. That's just one of my stories, but oh my God, Bobby Lee has the most amazing, and I don't know if they're true or at the time I thought Bobby Lee was full of shit. After that experience, I believe everything he says about that particular green room.
I have a Comedy Store ghost story, and I'm not really a regular at the store. Like, I'm kind of more like a cult comic where I like intimate places, but like the store and stuff, I just never really liked the vibe because of Roast Battle, I think. But
yeah, I don't like Roast Battle either. You're not a fan?
No, I find
I like it.
I find the comics who do it, and this is gonna make me sound like a huge dick, but I find the comics who do it aren't talented at all. They're just bullies. You know what I mean?
I just don't know why you would want to make someone else feel badly about themselves.
Yeah.
It's mean. It's mean.
And I feel like it's a cheap laugh, and I don't feel there's actual talent in that. But that's not the point.
Interesting. Okay.
So I did the Roast Battle once, and I was in the green room. I think it was the same green room, and there was a line of cocaine just right there, right? Yeah. And I was like, okay. So someone is either saving this for one of the coke heads at the store, or it's for me. I don't know which one. You know what I mean?
Like a ghost put it there for you.
Yeah. So then I closed my eyes for a second, like literally a second. Like I was like, oh, my eyes. And then I woke up and the line of coke was gone.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I was like asking people, I was like, hey, did you do that line of coke? Because that was a big line, and I'm sure I would have woke up from it, from you snorting it or whatever. And then they said, no, it was the ghost of Sammy Kennison.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah. I was like, holy Lord.
Yeah, that's exactly what Bobby said.
Yeah.
He just floats around and performs weird idiosyncrasies.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So it really freaked me out because I was never a huge Kennison fan, but the fact that I was in a room with this ghost, because literally and this was when Roast Battle just started, so it wasn't as hot, you know what I mean? So I was like, this is really weird, because there's no way Andy Dick could run in, do it, and leave.
Come on, Keith. Did you snort it? It's okay.
No.
I'm not going to judge you. I'm not.
No, not at all. I've never done drugs. But what I'm saying, it really tripped me out. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that would trip me out too.
So one of the things I really do like about you is you're very nice. Like a lot.
Very anti-roast battle.
Yeah, we met on the social media, and then we started texting. Then we met at the comedy choo-choo or whatever it's called. And yeah. And I don't know. I just really like you. I like your vibe. You know what I mean?
Well, thanks, and I like yours. You were referred to me by a comedy manager, and they said that you were one to watch. And serendipitously, I happened to see you that week that you were referred to me, because I was going to have you in my show. My show at Hollywood Improv ended up getting canceled because of COVID. I'm still going to have you on. Thank you for your patience with that. But the serendipity, it was just I couldn't believe the timing of it all, because your name was brought up. And then that night I saw you on stage and you were very funny.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Serendipity is my favorite movie. So that's kind of odd that you say that word.
It was serendipitous.
But
yeah, you're great. And what a story. I feel like I should interview you, and I will. Hopefully you'll be on my podcast, but you're fascinating, and you've had the most fascinating trajectory. I mean, working with Norm Macdonald and Bob Saget, and I'm sorry. I am sorry, my friend. Tough times.
And
I'm sorry for your loss, because I know you really worked very closely with them both.
Well, not so much Saget. Saget, I was close with. What happened was, so I was on the road with Norm for 8 years, and I wrote on his show and his podcast. And so Norm was actually like my dad, my comedy dad, and I was his comedy son. So like we would talk literally 10 times a day, you know what I mean? And even if I wasn't on gigs, I would still go and assist him and all that stuff. And then when he died, Norm introduced me to Saget because we were going to go see Mortal Kombat. And I think Norm didn't want to see it. So we're driving to the theater, and Norm's like, I forgot my phone at Saget's house. I was like, okay. He's like, we got to go get my phone at Saget. I was like, we're going to miss a movie. He's like, but it's my phone. So I was like, okay. So we drive all the way to, like, it's not Beverly Hills, but it's the city past that. I want to say Malibu, but it's probably not Malibu. Anyways, so we drove over to Saget's house, and there's like a gate there. And Norm's like, how are we going to get in? I'll just call him. And he takes out his phone, and he's like, I'm like, this fucker had his phone the whole time. And we missed Mortal Kombat.
Oh, that's a great story.
And then he's like, Saget's not home, man. I was like, So he felt bad about that. And then so he had Saget do my podcast for doing that. And I bonded with Saget. And then when Norm died, Saget was the only one who called me and texted me at least once a week until his death. So I was close with Saget, but I worked more with Norm.
Right. Yeah. No, I'd listened to your past podcasts, and so your episodes, so I knew a bit about that, but I hadn't heard that story.
Yeah.
Saget's house. That's great.
I don't even know if it was Saget's house, but like, but
great.
Like, see that was. See, when you lose people in the comedy community, because, we also just lost Louis Anderson, who I never had an experience with.
Thank God. I was going to say, because, you kind of have this, you're getting
circle of death. Yeah. I've heard good things about Louis Anderson, but I've also heard bad things. But like, it's one of those things where it never, like, it affected me because everyone lost them. So like, I feel bad for them. You know what I mean? Like, I never had I wasn't attached to Louis. So it was just like, rest in peace, farewell. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Interestingly, he's the one I did know.
Yeah.
That's the one I knew.
Because you did the baskets, right?
I did baskets. Yeah. But I
how
only
was
did
that?
one episode, but I was with him the entire day in an elevator, because our scene was in an elevator. He was amazing. Everything you would think he would be. Just gracious, humble, gave advice, curious. Just I just had a lovely day and experience with him. And then he stayed in touch, and we were, he retweeted stuff, and he just was just a very approachable, good, hardworking guy. And
that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
And this was before you did stand-up. You were acting, right?
I just was getting into stand-up. I was really, really green. Okay. And, I don't know about you, but I find that a lot of comics, including myself, we always feel like we're more advanced and we're ready when we're not, right. And because at the time I was a bringer. And so and I didn't really understand bringer, what that meant. And so I was getting like I was like in all the major clubs, but I was a bringer, which means I had to bring so many people via my promo code.
Does that make you feel, because I don't want to say I've never done bringers, but I've never done them to the point where if I didn't bring any people, I don't do the show. I still do the show because I kind of bitch and whine about it. But does that make you feel I don't want to say less talented. There's a better word for that, but does that make you feel like kind of like you're not up there yet if you're doing bringer shows?
I think that there's something poetic about the path and the journey. And I don't think comics should cut any corners. We all have to pay our dues, and being a bringer, in my opinion, is part of paying your dues. Right. If you didn't pay your dues by being a bringer, I guarantee you're going to pay your dues in some other area of this journey.
That's
right?
what I'm experiencing.
So I paid my dues as being a bringer. Right. And I did it for a good couple of years. But the great thing about being a bringer is you're exposed to so much. And I think it kind of sped up my process because it was a lot of pressure. I didn't want to make an ass out of myself in front of these like headliner, huge name, famous comics. I didn't want to, make an ass of myself in front of my friends that would, have to come. I didn't want to have repeat material for the same friends that I would keep bringing over and over again. So, and when does bringer really dissipate as a comic? It doesn't really, because the word bringer then transcends to draw. We need to be a draw.
Yeah, I've always I always lived by the word draw, not so much bringer. Because I always say, hey, if you tag me on a flyer or whatever, I'll retweet it. And not to brag, but people will come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna call 10 people my phone book and harass them. You know what I mean? I'll tweet it. But see, you gotta keep in mind too, I was trained with comedy, I was trained very Canadian. So I was trained how Canadians do comedy. Because Norm was Canadian and Jeremy Hotz was Canadian and Harlan Williams is Canadian. So that's how I was trained. I wasn't trained this American way. You know what I mean?
What's the American way? Just really barking almost, hitting the ground. And we'll do whatever we have to do to fill those seats. That's for sure.
Well, I've barked before, I've passed out tickets and stuff, but like I said, I've never said, oh, hey, by the way, when you go claim this, say you're here to see Keith Reza. You know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah. Well, I don't do it anymore. But it's a phase that I think it's a healthy phase of this journey that you have to go through as a comic, whether, and if you can avoid it, but I guarantee you're going to hit another hurdle because they're in another area of this crazy comedy world. But we always, it's all about building fans and a fan base. And so we never really get away from needing to fill the seats.
Yeah.
And I get it, producers are thinking about it and I'm not a series regular on a television show. So what is there? And there are thousands of comics in this town.
That's what people don't understand. There's so many comics.
So many. So why are they going to book me?
Yeah. The thing I did want to ask you is because you've been doing comedy for 34 good years?
I've been doing comedy. It will be 7 years.
7 years?
Yes.
7.
So
clearly I didn't do enough research, but
that's okay. That's okay. And I'm flattered. I mean, did you say 30 years?
No, I said 3 or 4.
Oh, 3 or 4. Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you said 30. I was like, damn, you think I'm really great.
No, but I guess my point is when you started during this cancel me too. Let's be careful what we say type of humor. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And when I started, it was literally because I started when Bush 1 was when Bush 2 was president and he was on the way. So I started when the Obama, the
boy, you started really young, huh?
The second depression, you know what I mean? Where people want to go to. So I started in that era where it was all about just be funny to make people laugh. And now it's more like you got to be funny while also being sensitive to their feelings. And I don't know how to learn that, I guess. And I was wondering what are some tips on that?
of learning how to be sensitive, or
no, I guess like I'm saying, like how was it like when you started, like with the shadow, you know what I mean? Like how did you avoid that? You know what I mean?
I'm still learning it. Like I posted something on Twitter today that rubbed some people the wrong way. This whole woke movement is just, it's really been nothing but a gross injustice to comedy. And it's, but in terms of like the Me Too and the misogyny of it all, it's a double-edged sword because it has gotten better for female comics.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like when I started just 7 years ago, I couldn't wear shorts on stage. I mean, without everybody being distracted by it and talking about it. And, oh, who does she think she is? She's wearing shorts on stage and you're not supposed to do that. And, and I had a lot of male comics say, yeah, never do that again. No one's going to take you seriously if you're wearing shorts on stage.
Really? I've only heard that if guys wear shorts.
I mean, I guess, just they don't show skin. A woman can't show skin as a female comic. A woman can't be cute. A woman, like downplay your looks. Don't wear makeup. So now like it's changing where we can be ourselves because comedy is all about truth. And, I'm a girly girl. I wear heels. I wear makeup. I like to be, and so if I'm not this way on stage, that's not who I am. So I'm happy that we're getting away from that. And then I had some male comics say inappropriate things in the mic before and after my set on stage, and that's going away as well.
So that's awesome though, right?
That is awesome.
Because I think male comics too are starting to see that that's not acceptable anymore. And I think before they were just doing it for a laugh, you know what I mean?
Yes, a cheap laugh.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So that's good. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I don't like that our lips are handcuffed, or that's kind of how it feels. Everybody is just so sensitive and we can't really say what we want for the sake of comedy with the whole woke thing. But at the same time, it's good to, it's good when people are no longer personally attacking specific people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get that. Cause like, when I started, a lot of people called me retarded, and that's like that's the one word that really does, like even Norm did it sometimes, but like it was the one word that really affected me because retard is always associated with autism when it's not associated with it. Like just because you're retarded doesn't mean you have autism. Just because you have autism doesn't mean you're retarded. So it's one of those, as you say, double-edged swords that have no effect with each other whatsoever. It's just coincidentally sometimes. You know what I mean?
I am an idiot, and I use that word in my special and on my album in a bit, and now I regret it.
Oh, because you're talking to me?
No. I mean, yes, it was directed directly. I said, this is for Keith Reza. But there, and I get like what you're saying is different. They're associating it with autism, which is, that's really just an uneducated person. But the term retardation, that was the correct term for people who were mentally disabled back in the day. Yeah. And so when I grew up, that was what people said. And I get that it's offensive now.
It's offensive because they just say retarded. They don't say mentally retarded. So that's why we're like, it takes a hit, because if you just say retarded, it shows you're not educated. If you say mentally retarded, it might still hurt, but at least there's some respect where, hey, at least you're not, what you're talking about a little.
Oh, I say mentally retarded in my special. So
I'm so good. You're safe.
I have no regrets.
Yeah. I regret that. How is it producing shows and then being on shows? Like, how is that beast like? Because do you care more about people being in there, or do you care about your jokes to a format?
I care about my jokes first and foremost, above everything. I mean, that's just the sun rises and sets on stand up for me. And the producing is not fun. I'm going to be honest.
It seems like it's a stressful thing.
It is. And I do it because I just wanted to, I do it for the relationships with comics. I do it to swipe spots. Well, hey, I'll give you a spot if you give me a spot, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I do it for stage time. I know that I will always have that stage time, and I can give myself as much time as I want on stage as well. It's my show. So there are a lot of perks, but wow, is it stressful? And I can't even imagine. I do not know how some of these comics do it several times a week. After I produce a show, I got to take like the whole next day. I'm just like in bed, staring at the ceiling, drinking, like, what just happened? Drinking coffee, like, what did that really happen? But and that's just filling like a 50-seater, you know.
I have experience in producing, but I don't call it producing because I'm the type of person where, like, I ran bar shows and I co-book a comedy club, but I book on talent. And if people show up, great. But if people don't show up, I honestly, like, it sucks. But at the same time, it's like, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? So, like, if the venue doesn't want me back, that's their decision. I put on a good show. You know what I mean?
Yes. I feel that. And I respect that. And I feel every one of my lineups, I believe in every comic. I know that they're not going to suck. I know that they're going to bring it. And I would never substitute someone who's less funny because I know that they're, you know, a bigger draw or can bring people. I also pay all my comics.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I would never not pay, and I would never book someone because they bring.
Yeah.
So that's just my philosophy. I think it's the producer's job to fill the seats.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, I agree with both ways. I believe that it's all a piece of a pizza. You know what I mean? There's 8 slices. You have 5 comics. 1 slice is the producer, 1 slice is the club, and 1 slice is social media. You all got to go together to get in the box. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. But
it is. It's a nice pepperoni mushroom with green pepper, I think, because
from Papa John's.
That sounds really good right now.
Is that your favorite pizza?
My favorite pizza would be, it's in New York City and it's called Two Boots.
Holy Lord.
Yeah.
When was the last time you went to New York?
Last time I was in New York, I performed there at Gotham.
For the folks at home, that's probably the best comedy club in New York.
It was. Oh, you think so? I don't have that's the only comedy.
That's the only one I've ever been at.
It's the only comedy. Yeah. Well, I performed Caroline's when I was really young. In an improv.
Maybe I'm thinking of Caroline's.
Okay, I used to do Caroline's.
Yeah. I'm thinking of Caroline's. I think.
Yeah, Caroline's.
Gotham is the one on the Comedy Central, right?
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, so I'm thinking of Caroline's.
And so yeah, I had a show there, and that's the last time I was in New York because of COVID. So that was probably like 2019-ish. Sure. And I love New York. I lived there for 7 years, and went to school, and I was an entertainer and actor, and I wasn't very successful, but I loved it.
Right. Now, see, that's key that you're saying you weren't very successful, because I guess I did stand up to get into acting, but then like I fell less in love in acting and more in love with stand up, and I have no idea if I'm successful or not. So I think like that's a key to keep doing what you love, regardless success. You know what I mean?
I think you're right, because looking back, I was successful.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize I was, because sometimes when you're in it, you don't realize we get so in our bubble and in our little world, we don't step outside to look in. And you're very successful, Keith, by the way.
I see. That's my dog. I don't know if you can
Oh,
see.
look at I see the nose and the whiskers.
this dog is like, and the sun's now going down, so like you probably can't see me that well. But what was I saying? Boomer. Success.
Success.
So
No,
I appreciate that, but I don't feel successful, even though if I am, because I feel as an artist, I mean, the fact is, I'm always going to be, you know, the person who opened for Norm. I'm never going to be outside of that. You know what I mean? And it's a beautiful thing, but it's also sad, because that now it's hard for me to get work, but it's like people don't give me a chance just for me. They only give me a chance for Norm. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but I disagree.
Oh, really?
I think you're young and you have a whole, you know, it's like the two roads divulge in a yellow wood. You know, what are you going to take, you know, like I think you could absolutely, like, you're just beginning, you know, and I've had moments where I was, you know, linked with celebrities, and oh, your dog is so cute right now.
I know. He wants attention.
Oh, he's so cute. I see the floppy ears. But I've been linked to people where I'm like, oh, is that going to be my apex? And it never is. It feels like it at the time, but that's not going to be your apex. You're going to have big moments, and you're just going to continue to grow and grow and grow.
I hope so. I feel like if I win this LA's funniest contest thing, it'll do absolutely nothing for me. But,
but you're out there. You're out there and you're performing. It's COVID. It's difficult to get stage time right now.
Well, see, that's the reason why I did it, because I actually came in second place like 3 years ago when I did it. And I was like, I felt like, you know, now that I'm on my own, I think I need to win something to prove I'm an artist of myself. You know what I mean? Because I'm known for writing and all that stuff, but I'm not known for me. And so that's why I did it. And I didn't even expect to move on that night, because that was my first time ever performing at the Comedy Cha-Cha or whatever, which I love the club. I just think it's just poorly run. And I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying that, but that's just how I feel. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's all, you know, that's part of that poetic romance of chasing the dream. And it's interesting because I was listening to your interview with John Radinsky.
Oh, I love John.
It was a great interview. And he mentioned performing in Muskegon, Michigan at a bowling alley. I played that same venue 6 months ago.
Oh, how was it?
I remember at the time feeling I was featuring for Craig Shoemaker, one of the best comics there is.
I used to open for Shoemaker.
Oh, okay. So you know how
long were you with Shoemaker?
I'm still with him.
Cool.
I'm one of his, you know, regular features.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
I learned a tremendous amount from him. I think he's one of the very, very best stand-ups. And it was a low point in his career. I mean, imagine having his background and all of his experiences and ending up at a bowling alley in Muskegon, Michigan. It was just a strange venue. And I'm his feature. I'm kind of making light of it. There was a big cockroach on stage. We couldn't tell if it was dead or alive. But it's also, you know, for me, it's fine because I've only been doing this for, at the time, 6 years. It was 6 months ago. I'm 6 years in. I'm staying at the Roadway Inn. I have a spot on my back that won't go away. Who knows what that's all about? I'm quite sure there were whatever that hotel was. You were telling the story of your hotel. I had a similar story with a lot of gentlemen callers in the next room over. Not me. Somebody else.
The
stories we have when we're on the road and the venues we play. I mean, it's all part of the chasing the dream.
Yeah, it's all part of the hustle. Like, one of the things, you might say like that might have hurt Greg's ego, but I don't think it did, because Craig's been doing this for so long. He knows that it's just a gig. It's not going to define him. You know what I mean?
Well, if you go back on his Facebook and how he was kind of journaling the whole thing, we did the west side of Michigan together. Yeah. And he admitted to being humbled. He was, it absolutely wasn't the glamorous part of his career. Yeah. But what I really respect about him, he didn't lay down. Yeah. He really performed his heart out for those people.
Yeah.
And he really put on a solid show for that fucking bowling alley. It was solid.
That's what you gotta do. And he probably did his whole 90 minutes.
He did. Yeah. He absolutely did. Yes.
And I remember I wasn't with Shoemaker very long because we had a falling out, but I mean, I still have nothing but love and respect for him. But I remember when I opened for him, I drove all the way to Ventura to pick him up. And I think it was Brea or Irvine or something. And I live in Huntington Beach. So it was like a 3-hour drive just to pick him up. And then I drove him all the way there. So it was like 6 hours. And I've already been friends with him, so I kind of already know him. But when you're stuck in traffic and, he was going through like wife issues at the time, like, because I guess his first wife was crazy or something. It's just very like, okay, what do I say now for 4 hours? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I can't talk about comedy because you're not in the mood. I don't want to ask how your family's doing. You're not in the mood. So I remember
it was probably a pretty quiet, awkward drive.
So I was just like, go Lakers, huh?
Yeah.
So, Sarah, the last question I wanted to ask you is, do you think podcasting makes you a better comic?
No.
Really?
Yeah. Nah.
Bummer.
I think it's, a great way to, to network and to cultivate relationships with other entertainers and interesting people, and just an opportunity to have interesting conversations.
Yeah.
And I just try to have people on that feed me, and quench any part of my curiosity. But in terms of actually being a comic, no. I mean,
I listened to your Jimmy Shin interview, and I listened to your John Cryer interview, and I listened to your Stephen Briggs interview.
Okay, what? Thank you.
Yeah, that one was kind of like hard for me to listen to because Stephen used to be my best friend. Oh. And yeah, it is. But like the thing is, I think it does actually make you a better comic because you're interviewing people and different artists. And I think like just a conversation, it's not like the Tonight Show where you only get 8 minutes to show who you are. And it's usually fake 8 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, I loved working with Louis Anderson. He was cool. You know what I mean? But like in a podcast, you can actually go in depth on the story. You did the scene with the elevator and he stayed in character. And then after he was nice and he called and he texted, you don't get that on a real talk show. So I think like that in-depth detail is what makes people better artists, because they remember that and it helps them grow.
Okay. So do you feel like you know me better listening to those podcasts?
Yeah, definitely.
That's a really big compliment. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I am very genuine.
Yeah.
My interviews, and I try to be as genuine as possible on stage. So that's a huge compliment.
Yeah. And like, I also feel that, I felt like just talking to you at that comedy club on the text message and stuff, I felt like we clicked immediately. But I felt like, hey, I'm interviewing Sarah. I need to find out, what her limits are, how I could read her, because it's hard for me to read people. So that's why I listened to interviews of everyone who I'm about to interview. So I try not to ask the same stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I feel, so that's what I'm saying. I feel you're a great stand-up, and I feel like the podcasting probably makes you a better stand-up, and you just don't realize it.
Okay. Yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, I'm in it for the long haul. Yeah. I don't think now that I'm back, and I've also grown more independent with it, where I'm learning all the tech and I'm learning the editing, and I'm not relying on a producer. I'm not relying on anyone's recording equipment. Like I'm really gonna, try to learn every aspect of it just for freedom.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying. Cause like, if you're in LA performing tonight at Melrose, like you said, someone different who saw you in Michigan, who liked you, they could subscribe to your podcast and still listen to your humor and still laugh at the same time. And I think that that's beautiful and magic.
Well, I like that. Yeah. I hope that continues, because we only have so much time during the day, and there's so much pressure to do it all now. We have to have a TikTok presence and an Instagram presence and a Twitter presence, and you got to have a podcast, and you have to be a great stand-up, and you have to, if you want to be on the show, you got to create it, you got to produce it, you got to pitch it, it's like, what? How do you not wake up like,
And see, that's what I'm trying to say, is that stuff, the social media, that's not real. That's just a presence.
Just went away forever.
Yeah, this is real. This is an in-depth, in the moment. This is how we're feeling conversation that people, when they listen to it, or even like your podcast, my podcast, Shoemaker's podcast, it doesn't matter. It draws people into that engagement. And I think that the likability helps you in the long run. That's what I'm trying to say. I think you should,
I hear you.
Stick at it,
Yeah. I've had 3 podcasts now. So I had the one at Jimmy and Sarah on the Sunset Strip. Then I had one with Daryl Hammond.
I love Daryl Hammond.
Yeah. One of the best humans ever.
He blocked me on Twitter, but I still love him.
Oh, did he? Huh, that's funny.
Okay. I have no idea why.
Like him. That doesn't seem like him. Knowing him, he probably did it by mistake.
No.
He probably fumbled around, and he doesn't know. He doesn't manage his own Twitter.
No, when I get him on the podcast, that's the first thing I'm going to say.
I guarantee that was not. And tell him I said. I'll call him after this. I'll be like.
I was like, Sarah wants to know, why did you block me on Twitter?
I will call him after. I owe him a phone call anyway. He's recovering from a stroke. But so we had a podcast, and it was a live podcast at the Improv.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was, and then and then COVID hit, and then I just decided, there was something about that first podcast I had, Drinking During Business Hours. There was something about it that just resonated the most with me. Yeah. So that's why I revamped it and starting it again. So awesome. I'm a few interviews in, and I'm enjoying it.
Well, Sarah, I want to respect your time. Where can the folks at home follow you and support you?
I am at Sarah J Halstead on all socials, and I have my podcast, Drinking During Business Hours, and my album. I have a special, RVs and Cats, on Amazon Prime, and I have a monthly show at Hollywood Improv called Bottle Shock Comedy. Awesome.
Well, Sarah, I love you very much, and thank you for taking time of your day to talk to me. I'm sorry my trusty sidekick wasn't here, but I think that maybe
just you had the dog. What's his name?
Yeah. Boomer. Yeah.
Boomer. He was your sidekick.
Yeah. I think he might have died now. I haven't seen him in 10 minutes. But I love you, and I'm glad we're friends, and thank you for taking time to talk to me. It really cheered me up. So
yeah, and me too, Keith. To be continued.
All right. Have a great day, and we'll talk later.
Yeah, we will. Bye, Keith.
Bye, Sarah.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.